Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope you guys can hear me. Woo-wee. You letting go of that bed this morning was so hard. Oh my God. And then all the t-shirts I found are wrinkled. So just call me Lady Row the Wrinkle Girl because I'm going to be wrinkled the next few days because I am on vacation. Good morning, Living for Me. Thanks for joining the live. Good morning, Queen Script. Thank you, ladies, for coming on in. We are going to continue our series on Queendom, on what we should be doing, the way we should be presenting ourselves as women. If we want to be queens, there's a certain way we have to carry ourselves. Give me 1 second. I was getting ready I know it was something I was getting ready to do and I didn't finish. Give me 1 second. Pull this up. Okay. So, what is today? Today's Friday, am I correct? I believe it's Friday. It is Friday, December the 26th. I'm lost on days. But I was scrolling through Facebook and TikTok and Instagram last night and the night before. My husband is with with his mother rather. And they live out of state. So he had a little time, when he's not here, I have sleepless nights. And so I was scrolling through the internet and I saw Peach McIntyre, of course, and noticed the young women in the comments, some of the things they had to say. And I was going to do a live about Peach McIntyre, and I decided to just do a live about the queendom. We're queens. We want a certain type of lifestyle. We want to live in our queendom, but yet still we have to make a decision. Do we want to live in a queendom where we actually are insulting each other, where we're not promoting intelligence among each other? So those are just the things that kind of stood out to me last night as I was scrolling, because I have a habit of reading comments. And I started putting together a little article or some notes. And with those notes, I hope you enjoy what you hear today. But I'm going to show you some of what I saw online last night. But let's first get the pleasantries out of the way. Please like, share, and subscribe to this page if you have not. I promise you, my aim is to give good content. I actually would love to just create a sisterhood here on YouTube of women across the country that have like minds, who want to come together for the better good for women who have children, for women who don't have children, for women who are exploring other career paths, or women who just may be doing something different in life. And as we grow older, women who are going through menopause, women of all shapes, forms, colors, creeds, period. But I will never, ever be apologetic for the Black woman that I am. So remember that when you come over here, my goal is to connect with all women, but my experience is that of a Black woman. So that's pretty much what I'm going to zero in on. That is probably going to be one of the experience I give you the most, unless it's just a general context. But that is my goal, is to be able to make contact with all women and create a safe space, a sisterhood where we could come here and just talk about things that affect us as women. Because believe it or not, women go through a lot. A lot of times we want to connect with the men, but I think a lot of us have unhealed trauma or unhealed issues sometimes that we just don't realize, and we go through it and endure it as an old soldier, as they used to say in the church. Fair use disclaimer: some material in this video is used under U.S. Copyright Fair Use Section 107 for purposes such as commentary, criticism, news reporting, and education. Today we're going to be doing some commentary, a lot of criticism, and I hope from that criticism we become educated, because my generation raised the generation of parents that we see today. And sometimes I get really sad thinking, is this what we really created? Is this what we raised? Did we raise a group of people who entitled young men and women, not just men, young men and women who feel as though they deserve they deserve it and you need to give it to me regardless. And give me one second, y'all. I'm trying to get some people in here that I know asked me to text them when I went live next time. Um and so um that is my goal, is to do that. So if you don't mind sharing the live, liking it up, I would greatly appreciate that as well. Fair use disclaimer: some material in this video is used under U.S. copyright fair use section 107 for purposes such as commentary, criticism, news reporting, and education. Like I said, we're going to be doing some commentary, some criticism, a lot of criticism, very small amount of news reporting, and some educating, because as adults we should be working on educating ourselves. I think you should be growing daily in what you have going on. And this is what we're pretty much going to be talking about today. The queen. The queen. What is your goal? What is your role as a queen in this life, in your present life, what you're doing? We're not talking about today, we're not going to talk about, I'm sorry, family as per se. I think we will discuss some family, but I think my goal today is to talk about Black women and our culture and how we are influenced by social media, which is why the title says, how does social media influence, uh negatively affect, um I can't even read my own writing. How does social media negatively affect your queendom? So as we know, queendom is a, how's the word I want to use it? I want to put it in description. Queendom is generally like a realm, a space, or a state where women lead, where we thrive, where we rule, right? When I think of queendom, that's what I think about. Often used to express empowerment, confidence, and our self-worth. So I think that is where we're going to. That's my goal today, is to discuss those things. Let me get back over here. She's speaking of Queen Script, definitely. Good morning, Symmetry. Thanks for joining the live. And I would have one of those senior moments as soon as I get on the live. I start sweating. And I have a little fan somewhere around here, but I'm not gonna dig for it. I thought it would be sitting close by. Y'all might see me fanning with something else. But let's move forward, because I'm a queen and I operate in myself, right? I operate in my queendom. And my queendom is to lead my children, my husband. Something me and my daughter discussed yesterday after we had eaten our Christmas dinner. And we discuss role of women, right? My mother was a we consider her the matriarch, but she was a queen, right? She ruled the house, the home, the family, the children, her children per se, and she set traditions. And we have followed our mother's tradition for years. As many of you know, like I told you last year, my mother passed away. So this is our second Christmas without mother. It was a little hard, but we managed to make it through. Last night on my way home from my sisters, we all gathered over there. I kind of wiped my brow. I was like, I did it. We made it through. Because Christmas to me is just a hard time of the year when your mother or your father's not alive. And I'm not gonna get teary eyed today. I'm gonna stay strong. Good morning, Riri Speaks. But I feel like when your parents leave, that kind of leaves a big void, especially when your mother's an active part of your life. My mother was very active in my life. My mother was very active in all of her children's lives. So her presence is missed. But those traditions that she created for her entire family, her children, her grandchildren, they don't work as we grow older, as me and my daughter were talking about. So we have to create our own traditions among our own individual families, and then maybe create a bigger tradition when it comes to the larger family. We had a tradition of Christmas morning. We would gather, open up gifts, and then in the afternoon, we would have dinner as a larger collection of family, and we would open up gifts that we had bought for each other. And it worked well. But as members of the family began to pass away, um, you could see the tatter or the tears in the family unit because the family was yet growing, and yet that small little nucleus was beginning to get smaller and smaller because the outside of it was growing. So it was really hard. It's hard to continue those traditions that mother started when there's so many other influences around it. Queen Script said, "My traditions are finally taking root with my kids." Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Pretty much like the traditions that I had with my children, and there was something my older sister, even mentioned yesterday. She said, "You always cook at home for your family on Thanksgiving and Christmas Day, regardless of if we meet up or not." And I do. At my house, there's always going to be ham, turkey, dressing, green beans, potato salad, mashed potatoes, sweet potatoes, pies, cakes. All it's always at my home. There's always going to be dinner. Even though my husband's out of town, when he returns, his dinner is already in the refrigerator waiting on him. His When he gets here, his dinner is already ready. He has all of his cakes and pies waiting on him, his banana pudding. He has everything that he requests for Christmas because I know my honey wants food at home. So I make sure that I have food here. He goes, he doesn't go every year to be with his mother. His mother's ailing. So he goes, I encourage you when your parents start getting older to spend holidays with your parents, because when they're gone, you cannot get those times back. Go create those memories, because those are things, I'm telling you, when your parents leave this earth, those are things that continue to echo in your ear. So I know he wants to spend time with his mom. So when he returns home, I'm sure he expects, hey, my wife gonna cook. She has my dinner. Our traditional dinner is going to be there regardless of whatever he gonna come back with his mama's buttermilk. I mean, with her banana pudding with that meringue on it. But he's gonna bring me enough too. But he's also going to return and to make sure he got some dressing at home. That's just him. So I really feel like we have to create our own traditions. But how do you go into that path, which sometimes can be a little bit hard for us as adults? It was nice Christmas morning, and I love that Queen Script. My kids were here yesterday. We were here. I told you about Thanksgiving, how Thanksgiving, we normally would do a big family Thanksgiving among all of our family. But I always cook dinner here. My kids always come here. And then Christmas the same way. But this year we really didn't have anywhere to go. We didn't go anywhere. We just stayed here. So we ate Thanksgiving dinner here, and then we played Uno and Monopoly, Operation, because we have games like crazy. And I enjoyed having my children, my grandchildren around, because again, the nucleus of our family was my mother, and she has passed on. Her traditions have, or I'm not going to say they have fallen or they've gone away, but we are left to start our own traditions and become the matriarch of our family. But how do you establish that, is what my daughter was saying yesterday. But how do you establish that? You pretty much have done a good job of creating your own tradition, but how do you put your stamp on it and make it yours for your children to continue as they grow older? So it's pretty much what I'm saying. 7 years trying, and they now look forward to it. Exactly. We know mama got this, we know mama got that. Yesterday, my oldest daughter comes to the house, and she knows I'm cooking. And I was having a little backache yesterday, and she just came in, what can I do to help you? I give her that. My other daughter, what can I do, mom? If y'all could do these two things, dinner be ready. They did those two things, and dinner was ready. We sat down and ate. By evening time, we got dressed, headed out to my sister's, had a great time playing. We had what we called game night, which is something new. We normally get together and eat and exchange gifts among the other family. But we had what we call game night. We played games. There really wasn't a big exchange of gifts. Of course, I buy my siblings gifts, but it was just a great time to sit down and enjoy each other. So I think we all have to get to that point of we um where we really, really establish what traditions mean in our family. Good morning, Lady B975. Happy belated 1975. Happy belated birthday to you, girl. Get on in here. Good morning, Butterfly. Good to see you. You say you're out running an errand, but I'm here. Thank you for even being here. Today we're talking about queendom, what it is to be a queendom, to establish your queendom. Because we know what in tradition what the man's role is, we think, in a patriarchy. But what about what the woman's role is in the queendom. What do we do to establish that? So we started last week talking about what it is to be a queen. What is the meaning, the symbolism of a queen? So I want to hone in on that and just continue to push that because I think it's a great narrative, a great opportunity for us to just sit down and chit chat as women and to create a sister space for women to feel like it's okay to come in and to talk and to be able to, hey, spread my emotion and not be judged over here. And not this not a beefing spot. This not a place for us to come out and right. This is a place for us to have real genuine conversations. So what started this conversation with me was on Wednesday night or Tuesday night, one of those nights. Must have been Wednesday night. Because my husband left Wednesday morning. So Wednesday night. I sat down and was scrolling through Facebook and um was beginning to see all these posts from Peach McIntyre pop up. As you know, Peach McIntyre is a social media influencer. I don't consider her a positive influencer. Some people may, but I don't consider her a positive influencer. I consider her just an influencer, someone who gets on here and she influences people, and people tend to follow her. I did say where when she did the hair thing, I thought it was a great idea. It was her getting to the bag, but that doesn't negate how I see her. I do not see her as a positive role model out here on this here app. This app, other apps, whatever app she's on. I don't see her as a positive influencer. Butterfly said, gee, I wish my boys would be that thoughtful. I constantly have to remind them about my back issues. You know what though? My boy isn't that thoughtful. I notice I said daughters. I have a boy. I have one boy. But he'll take out the trash. I will say that. He will do the men things. He'll take out the trash. If there's toilet paper that needs to be put in the guest bathroom or it needs to be cleaned up or tidied up, he will gather up all the trash from when the kids open up their gifts. He'll gather up all the wrapping paper. He'll that's one thing my son will do. He's gonna make sure the space is clean. And if you go to his apartment is going to be clean. And so I really appreciate that about my son. You say, yeah, let's ask Yanti, girl. Is Yanti a positive influence? Probably a little bit more positive than Peach is. I believe when my kids have children, they will get it. I believe so too. I think that's the part with my children. They have children. My youngest kid, I'm not sure if she gets it, but she'll help out. She has to ask. But she thinks she's a queen or a princess. Because baby, if she gets through eating, she puts her feet up. Someone else needs to do the cleaning. Because she's ghost. She's gone. It's over. It's over. Hang it up. So I'm gonna share what I have found on Facebook. Let me look at my Facebook page real quick and open up something. Yeah, what I have been looking at on Facebook. I'm gonna share it and we're gonna talk about it. All right. This is Peach McIntyre in case anybody ever if you guys have ever wondered who she is, this is Peach McIntyre. She's dancing, of course. So I'm sure there's music. I'm not going to play it, but this is pretty much what she does. But I want you to see something that she posted. She takes her children every year for Christmas to Disney World, which I think is a great tradition. In fact, me and my kids were actually talking about that. Really, if we had planned it out, that was kind of my goal earlier in the year. And I didn't stay on task to have it completely planned out, was to take my grandchildren, my children, and my husband, and we all go to Disney World. But I do understand my husband with his mother getting older, not really wanting to be too far away from home. So that's pretty much the reason why I didn't really look into it more. And then his mother's dealing with some health issues. That's neither here nor there. But I really feel like that's a good tradition to have. So every year she takes her children to Disney World for them to enjoy Disney World. But as you see, she's out there and she's dancing. People are walking around. She doesn't care. She doesn't care as long as she gets the attention. This is someone who I feel like really, really missed out on some part of their childhood. Something in their childhood just didn't engage. And with that not engaging, it caused her to lash out in ways that are troublesome, really troublesome. You say, I do not like this lady. And Queen Script, you are perfectly within your rights for not liking her. A lot of people don't like her. Trust me. But as you see, this is Disney World. If you've ever been in Disney World, they have a parade at the end of the night with a fireworks show. So these people are probably getting ready for the parade because it starts, I think, around dusk. There's a time limit. It's been a while since I've been to Disney World. There's a time that they actually have it. I'm not sure if it's 10. But the people are walking around, so they're getting lined up to get part of the parade, but she's dancing. She wants everybody to see me. Look at me, look at me, look at me. I need all the attention by any means possible. This is her with her family. She has always shown us her kids, but all of a sudden now she's just, and I have been posting on her page, baby, stop showing your kids to these people on social media. They're not going to be kind to your children. Stop showing them. But all of a sudden she posted a picture of her and her husband at Disney World yesterday and their 9 children, and she covered all their faces up. We already know what they all look like, but child, do you? Do you? You said we all deal with some type of trauma. She's too mean. She is too mean. But I'm going to tell you, I think she's honed in on the fact that being mean makes her money. So that's why she does what she does. Because the old Peach McIntyre, who started out on Facebook and YouTube talking like this, wasn't mean. She was not mean. She has grown into this mean person because guess what? It gets her followers, it gets her money. This particular page Peach has 900, let me see if I can get to come down, 985,000 followers. 985,000 followers. It doesn't give the change amount, but yes. So this is her Disney World, but I want to show you what caught my this is her and her husband, child. This they got a romance that, girl. Let's see if it's still on here. Looks like it may be gone. Let's see. I should have recorded it, but I didn't. I didn't want it on my phone at all because, child, it was nasty. It may still be here. Maybe we're scrolling through. We're gonna find it. So she and her husband went to get the kids food. Here it is, honey. I want you guys to pay attention and listen to this. This is it.
Is this. If this wasn't here, it'll
start at the beginning.
Peach Patch. The issue is this. If this wasn't here, it'll be a E.
Let me put my fur use up, because I don't want to over here bother me. All views expressed in this live are alleged, are my opinion, and they're for entertainment purposes. Please don't go out your way to dislike nobody you see, okay? Okay. Let's get on back over here.
Easy. But because of this, I'm more elevated, so it makes it more, obvious, which is making Daddy a little bit nervous. But don't be nervous, Daddy.
So on Wednesday night, she decided to take to either Tuesday, maybe Tuesday night. She decided to take to Facebook and post this live of her and her husband sitting in a car, and she telling him to be on the lookout. We're all adults around here. This isn't for children, and I'll post that in my thing. So here we go with
how many years?
Look at
this. We done got old, child. We've been doing this for a long time. How many years now, Daddy? 18? 18 years. And he's scary now. He used to not be so scary.
He not scary, baby. Do you know that being nude in public is called lewdness, and you can actually go to jail for that? And I think he has some warrants and other things on him, so he don't want to go to jail. But girl, go ahead.
Get old and you get scary. We done got old, child. We've been doing this.
So she's trying to encourage him to let her do the woo 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 on him, baby. But hold on.
Somebody came. So anyways, he's so scary. Because somebody came outside. Now you scared. You gonna let me finish? You don't want no people in our business like that. I'm trying to make sure a wife know how to enjoy her husband.
Now, she talk about enjoying her husband on Facebook. This on Facebook. This not Oh no, this not on no Snapchat, OnlyFans. This on Facebook, y'all. Somebody enjoying her husband, which I you do what you want to behind closed doors at your house. But when you get on the internet, you kind of make it someone else's business. So she's talking about enjoying her husband, and I sat there and I was like, this maybe she's just playing. That's what I said at first. Her husband is afraid, or she's saying he's afraid, but I think he's being more modest. I don't think, but we know him. We know men; they don't care.
It's exciting. You still got to do what you used to do. You want him to go back inside first. He went back inside. You ready for me, Daddy? He's ready.
Okay, so that was one. Okay, look at this one now. Look at
You
this.
enjoy yourself? Oh, she still got it.
Look at the bottom of his shirt is wet. So she's letting everybody know what she's done, right? Everything she's done. Y'all give me 1 second. Close the door. Thank you. My oldest grandson spent the night last night. He loved him gritty. Moving forward, let me finish this.
You enjoy yourself? You happy?
No shame. No shame whatsoever. No shame. No shame whatsoever. Oh my God. You said Queen Script really, I guess because I'm late getting to know her, I find I've been watching Peach for a minute. I really started watching her when she had her, let's see, she got 9 kids. So she had her seventh baby during COVID. I started watching her, and it was like at the end of COVID. And this lady got a husband and 7 children, and she's divorcing him. That's when I started, and she gathered at my heartstrings because she started talking about he had been cheating on her. He wouldn't help her. He wouldn't work. Just all these things. And so I was like, oh my God, this is horrible. So I started following her, and then I realized this is all a plot. It was all a scheme that Todd had set up. So, child, you see, I only look when you talk about her. She's not my type of hype. Mine either. Because actually, I do follow her on Facebook. I follow her so I can get information, so I can keep up with this hair stuff. Because I wasn't following her before. Well, I stopped following her after I realized the thing with the husband was a game. Because it started then she started talking about her mom, then it went back to the husband. So I was like, oh, this is a game. So I stopped following her. You said I tried with her, but she's not my type of creator. And I don't blame you at all. Butterfly, she has no decorum, just loud, mean, and ignorant. Definitely that. Definitely that. Butterfly said, I understand. I know Yunti is loud, but she has some type of boundaries. She has a lot of boundaries because Yunti is of a certain age and we were raised totally different. Um, Peach is a millennial. So millennials tend to be a little different.
He's happy. You're welcome, Daddy. He's fresh. That's a happy husband. He got the food for the kids.
Okay. I had enough of that. So we through with her. We through with her. But my whole point, I don't know why my work phone is ringing because baby, I'm on vacation. Um, I think the whole point um me bringing her up is because of the people that I saw in her comments that were encouraging this behavior. And that's what I really wanted to show you guys. How people go along with it and act as though it is that she was doing something that people should be doing on the internet, something that people should be happy to do for other people to enjoy. And I am totally not for that. She did come back later the next day, I think, and talked about it for a while. But I want you I want to read some of these comments. Because I actually commented on it, and she actually made block me. I don't know, but I said what I wanted to say. Let me go back. You said You said she's not playing with her marriage. She's playing with her marriage for fun, no good. Exactly, exactly. Tokyo Tony is Gen X and a fool. And maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's regional. Maybe I don't know what it is. The child, but I will tell you this: her mama's Peach's mama's, she don't fall too far from, they say the apple don't fall too far from the tree. She don't fall too far from the tree. This lady said, "Girl, lay those edges. It's been days." Happy. He's happy as double the hockey sticks. Carrying that bag of food. I'm screaming. Well, he should be making you happy. You the breadwinner. LOL. Wood is Peach's turn. His shirt is all wet. I know that's right, Peach. It's the wet spot on the shirt for me. Girl, he looks weak. Job well done. And then, damn, y'all did several videos and still finished. Now that's multitasking at its best. He's happy because she gave him $100,000. Do you think she gave him $100,000? I totally doubt it. And then this person, Pete McIntyre, hate to say you and Wood not happy. LOL. Y'all look happy to me. Merry Christmas to y'all, and y'all like it. Girl, let's do Ebonics for me. Now go brush your teeth. Exactly. Ooh, left a wet spot. It's the audacity and the amount of women who actually responded to this that was the reason that I decided that I would bring her into my conversation about Queendom. Um, Pretty Riri speaks that her behavior is so foolish. It is absolutely appalling. Absolutely appalling. But my whole goal today is to talk about how behaviors influence us being queens in our lives, in our family, period. And how much social media influences us as a generation or a group of women to be queens. Because how can I be a queen if this is who I'm watching, this is my influence, and I'm rooting her on, yay, 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 and I see her emasculating her husband, I'm sorry. I see her degrading her mom, being disrespectful to her mom, to herself, to everybody in her chat, watching her cuss at random people, watching her belittle random people, um, just watching her daily behaviors. If that is my influence, how does that affect me as a queen, as the queen of my life, as being who I say I am? How does that affect my queendom? How does that affect me as a queen? So that is kind of where I want to start with that. Okay. That is my entry point to this conversation about where does my queendom, where how much does it negatively affect me as a queen? How does social media negatively affect me in my life as a queendom? And is it really hard? Do we put too much emphasis and too much time and influence into social media? So let's start. People of all backgrounds often take cues from creators who content resonates with their interests, their values, or life experiences. Whether that's beauty, makeup. People sometimes watch influencers because of makeup. I have a couple of ladies that I watch that do their makeup. I think I watch a gentleman that does his makeup. He's in Nigeria, I believe. He does a great job. He shows you all the products that you need to make your face look flawless. So I kind of watch him. Finances. There are people that we watch for finances that teach us how to be motivational, parenting, fashions, wellness, and so on. I watch E. Thomas because I think he's a great motivational speaker. And he also teaches us about money and how to take care of our finances. And then research on social media influences shows that people are influenced by what they see online. And so that's why, if you notice here lately, when you look at through any social media, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, you see an abundance of commercials because research has shown that people are influenced by what they see. So they throw a commercial in here. If you watching, let's say that today on your iPhones are especially bad about this. That today I scroll about furniture. You're gonna see all kinds of furniture ads as you scroll through your internet on your Facebook. I mean on your iPhone. You're gonna see all kinds of furniture ads from different people. It's not gonna just be one person. It's gonna be all over. You're gonna be seeing something totally different. I will tell you this. I bought a bedroom set recently for my daughter, and I promise you, I've seen that bedroom set all weekend. Like all week. I'm sorry, since I purchased it, I'm scrolling on my phone and I see that bedroom set. So research has shown social media influences people are influenced by what they see online, especially when content feels relatable. Creators who look like them, who share similar struggles, experiences. Also, when creators appear authentic or aspirational, which I think people aspirate to be. I'm just gonna use Peach McIntyre because they see her with the money. They see the very fact that she's making money out here on this internet, doing whatever she's doing, being mean, being rude, being disrespectful, being disgusting at times, sharing things that we don't necessarily want to see. But people sometimes see that as aspiration. It depends on their life influences as well, how they were raised. When that content impacts everyday decision making, such as beauty tips, lifestyle habits, financial advice, consumer behavior, uh, it doesn't mean that people are easily led, but that social media shapes our norms. It shapes our taste and it shapes our choices. And I don't think people really take those things into consideration. So, black women and influencer culture, because black women, we tend to, according to research, as I looked it up, we tend to be one of the most engaged group of people on social media. I didn't know that until I googled it. Black women are among the most engaged users on social media and have historically helped drive trends in beauty. Black women, y'all, when I say we are, girl, that's why I be saying we some bad mama jammas. We have driven trends in beauty, fashion, culture, and lifestyles. If you look around, um, what was that? Michael Kors. Who was the rapper that actually kind of put Michael Kors? Michael Kors had really filed for bankruptcy, had gotten off the map. You'd been seeing him in Ross going for like pennies on the dollar, $20, $30. And I want to say it was Cardi B. I may be wrong. Was it Cardi B? Some rapper was like she used her name in her rap and everybody started buying bags. Michael Kors started, hey, he came up out of bankruptcy and was able to pull his business back into the positive because he was actually losing his business. I'm gonna Google that. Wish I had done that before I did this, but I didn't even think about that when I was getting all this crap together to talk about. But Michael Kors is one of those people influenced by black women. So black women, again, we help drive the trends in beauty. Baby, who out here buying NARS, Fendi? So much and so to these companies have had to create darker hue makeup to do what? Be able to fit us, right? L'Oreal is not an African American owned product, but guess what L'Oreal did? Maybelline, because Maybelline is owned by L'Oreal. They went and it was like, okay, black women want to be beautiful. They want to wear makeup too. So let's go out and let's put this together. Let's put that together. NYX. Oh my God, they have so many different shades. Because they saw the beauty trends, which were set in place by African American women, black women. Fashion, again, we talked about the purses. Let's talk about Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton is who Louis Vuitton is, probably because of black women's influence. Someone go out there, you see them with a bag. Oh, I want that. It's labels, names. We talked about on Married to Medicine the other day how um, Steve, every time you see him, he has on a Louis Vuitton, some type of set beachwear or suit or tie, which I think he always looks very nice, but it is labels. We also talked about Toya Bush Harris, how she's a label woman. She got to have those labels. And if you go to Real Housewives of Atlanta, you see last season Shamia Morton, every time you saw her, she was labeled from head to toe with Gucci, Louis, whoever she could think of. She was in her labels. Some people love labels, but those labels a lot of times are primarily influenced by Black women. Scholars and analysts often note Black women are powerful trendsetters, not just followers. Many influencers from the Black community, like Jackie Aina. I had to look up who Jackie Aina was because I didn't know. She actually formed a lot of what we see in Black beauty. She shaped a wider social media culture in beauty products. Yeah, maybe y'all know who Jackie Aina was. I didn't know who Jackie Aina was. I just scroll through Facebook. If I find somebody I like, I tend to watch their influence. Um, Social media offers community, representation, and shared experiences that mainstream media often lacks. I think that's why people tend to hone in on reality TV. A lot of times we see things on reality TV that actually kind of is what we deal with every day in our own personal lives, which is why reality TV took off in such a big shape, big form. Um, Influence does not equal mindless following. So just because you're influenced by things doesn't mean that Black people just follow you mindlessly, even though sometimes it looks like it. But that is impossible. I think people find what actually resonates with them and they go and they follow it. Even if you find it foolish or whatever, people follow what they want to follow. Um, it often reflects desires for connection, identity, affirmations, and practical advice. So a lot of people follow things because they're looking for something. Something's lacking, and I believe that pretty much when I talk about Peach, I felt like something was lacking. But I believe some of that came from the very fact of that she often talks about things that happened in her childhood, growing up with her mom and her grandmother and how they talked to her and how they treated her. I remember at one point she said her mom made her take a bath in her dirty bath water. Kind of weird, but that's what she said happened. I do I believe it? I don't know. That's not an experience that I could actually relate to, but is it possible? Yeah. So yes, Black women, like other groups, can be influenced by creators who speak to their lives and interests. But this influence is nuanced and not inherently easy or superficial, meaning that it's the nuances of it sometimes is like, today I like it, tomorrow I don't. Right? It just depends on what people feel like, because we as a people are fickle. That's just human nature. Influence versus autonomy. A key distinction being influence means exposure to new ideas that shape choices that we make over time, or daily choices. Being easily influenced suggests a lack of critical thinking. So if I'm easily influenced by watching this person, then I engage in those same tactics, then that actually says a lot more about me as a person, and also affects my queendom. Um, Most people, regardless of their background, practice selective influence. They engage with content that matters to them and they reject those that don't. Black women are no exception. Uh, many active many actively choose influencers who provide valuable content. So the majority of the African American women, or Black women, as we like to say, they choose people who actually give them something that is valuable. So someone, because we see Peach McIntyre has 985,000 followers. That's just on Facebook. She has other social media accounts. So there's someone who finds her content valuable to them, whether it's educational, whether it's empowerment, whether it's humor, whether they just sit back laughing at her, whether it's community, or whether it's inspirational. Um, Critical engagement, social media influence isn't inherently negative. What is important is knowing who creates content and what their motivations are. Understanding that sponsored content and monetization are part of the influencer's livelihood. So you have to remember always in the back of your mind that what you're watching, these people are sometimes out here just to make money. I personally am not monetized, so I wouldn't say that what I'm saying is sponsored content at all, because no one's sponsoring this. None of this is monetized, so I'm just out here just giving you my thoughts and opinions, um, and engaging with content that educates, inspires, and enriches rather than entertains. So I think sometimes we need to come out from under that umbrella that we're just here to engage with people who are just, ha ha rah rah, and learn some things. A lot of times on YouTube, especially, you can find how to fix things. My son, I'm sorry, told me on yesterday that something on his dryer had stopped working. He was like, "Mom, I just went over there to the YouTube, Googled it in, typed in what I needed to know, and I fixed it myself." And I was like, "Oh my God, I didn't think you were a handyman." He was like, "I did it all by myself. I didn't call nobody or nothing. I just figured it, hey, this broke." He said, "I realized I can go on Google and I can just about fix anything." And that's what I did. People can be inspired without being manipulated. So you should be able to, as a content creator, inspire people to do things without manipulating them. Right? That's a part of you as a woman, as a queen. You shouldn't be manipulated anyway. This is my queendom. This is who I am, and I don't want to be manipulated. You can't manipulate me. Who you think you talking to? You think you talking to a fool? You said right. YouTube is my BFF. Exactly. I do the same thing. I do the same thing. I went the other day when it got really cold. The air pressure came on in my car. I went and I put the air in the tire. I had run flats on my car, so I ran up there to the QT, put the air in the tire, and I had to Google how to get the light. How to, because you have to reset the light. Girl, these Mercedes Benz, they put you through all kinds of changes. Anywho, so I had to Google how to set all that. So I use Google for a lot of things I want to know about. How do I do this? How do I do that? And Google, again, I mean, not Google, YouTube, it'll sometimes show you step by step. There is someone posting on YouTube for different reasons. So you can always find what you want on YouTube, different platforms. So, summary: are Black women easily influenced by influencers? Not necessarily easily. Like many groups, Black women engage with social media creators who feel relatable or offer value. So, again, like I said, someone finds value in what Peach McIntyre says. I don't find a lot of value in it. I go over there to get a good giggle and scroll on off. But again, someone finds it as value. Influence reflects broader patterns of digital culture and community, not a lack of judgment. Um, and social media influence is a nuance and shaped by identities, interests, cultural context, and individual agency. That's true for Black women and all social media users alike. So not only are Black women being influenced by social media, so are other cultures. It's not just Black women. So if you really go from the Black sector over to another sector, you'll see the influences that they have. I've often said that I have a nephew who is on TikTok. He's a content creator on TikTok, on YouTube as well. He has over 1 million subscribers on TikTok. And my little nephew has been able to bridge over between African American and the interracial side because of his influence. And I love that for him. And so we know that it's not just us. And I think a lot of times we speak to things because it's just, I only see things from my lens, which is an African American lens. When people are using the word queendom, we usually talk about the woman's inner authority, her self-worth, her discernment, emotional sovereignty, our ability to rule her own life with clarity and confidence. Negative social media influence can quietly erode that queendom in several ways. So let's talk about how it can erode it, because we really would like to think of social media being positive. So I think it's always great to take social media breaks, to always be able to, if things are not, if you feel like it is too much for you or if it's triggering, cut it off, remove that person from your algorithm. Even if you have to hide the user, those are things that you can always use to protect your queendom, your reign, you as a queen. The erosion of self authority, which will be outsourcing your crown. Negative influencers often position themselves as the blueprint. Girl, I wrote the blueprint. If you watch Peach McIntyre, she's always saying, I did. I. Peach McIntyre is phenomenal. Peach McIntyre did was the first one. Peach, she wants to be first because somewhere along in life, someone made her last, I believe. But that's just my personal opinion. I'm not no psychiatrist, and I'm not here to psychoanalyze her. They often position themselves as the blueprint, the truth teller, the one who knows better. When a woman begins to defer her judgment to an influencer's opinion, lifestyle, or reaction, she slowly hands over her crown. You slowly give that queendom over to another person when you allow them to direct your lifestyle, to change your reactions, to form your opinions in your mind, because you start rethinking the opinions that you have that you know are right, or which were probably formed from you through your parents. Um, Instead of asking, what do I think? She asks, what would they say when you start doing things? That's how you hand over your crown to someone else to take, right? Make sure the court jester, as Living for Me said the other day. But you could be that queen, because all of us have a queen in us, but it's how you use your queendom. Um, the impact on the queendom, her inner voice gets quiet, her external validation replaces with inner wisdom, because you allow someone else to influence you. Good morning, Sergeant Charge. So good to see you. I had a great Christmas, and I hope everybody else did too. Christmas was wonderful for me. This started self-image and comparison culture. Negative influences frequently thrive on constant comparison. Oh, she, her, him, her, she, thee, we, whatever. Highlight reels without context. Why would you give someone something and not give them something that they could grow on? Just giving them something. Mockery. We see that a lot over here. Humiliation, or the pick me narratives. Hyper aesthetics, lifestyle sold as success. So we're going to just be trying to act like we live in this life when we really ain't living that life. We live in something totally different. And those sometimes is what we see on social media. What you see is not always what you get. Sometimes you're getting people who are, child, ain't doing none of that behind them closed doors. They're coming on here lying to you and going home and living in misery or broke, one or the other. This trains women to measure their worth against someone else's edited reality. So we have to stay within our queendom, be who we are. That's why a lot of times I get on here and say, I am who I say I am. I am Lady Rowe. I don't pretend to be anybody but me. That's it. I don't pretend to be nobody else. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. You do what you're gonna do, and we all gonna get along. So if you remember those things, that when you're watching someone else and they're giving you something, it most of it is just smoke and mirrors. It's not even true. If you always keep that in the back of your head, that, oh, she's probably lying. I always be able to deduce the truth, have some discernment. We And a lot of people don't have discernment. I see, but if you use some of your discernment, you can be able to filter through some of that stuff that ain't true. And how this impacts the queendom: confidence turn into conditional, self-love becomes performance based instead of noted. So you be out here in the public, girl, performing for the people. Just be who you are. Just be unapologetic you. I'm not saying get out here and be crazy and do crazy stuff to people, but be unapologetic yourself. That's all I'm saying, to be the queen that you are. Normalizing dysfunction as entertainment. When negativity is packaged as just jokes, real talk, keeping it honest, that's just how women are. That can be considered dysfunction. It conditions women to accept chaos, disrespect, and emotional instability as norm. I use Peach McIntyre because she's over there and she says whatever she wants to say, and people will be in her comments saying, "Oh, she being real. She a real one. She a real one." Girl, that's chaotic and disrespectful what she's over there doing. So it's really, you're actually giving her your crown. You're handing over your crown to her and you're saying, "Here's my crown. You can have it because I believe what you say." Never. Never, never, never. The impact that this has on the queendom, which is you, is peace feels boring. Not dealing in chaos feels, oh my God, I need some chaotic crap to be around me today. I'm gonna tell you something. I drive in my car with no radio on for the most time. Every now and then I put on the radio and I listen to some music. But for the most part, anybody who knows me knows I drive without my radio on. Yesterday, me and my son, we were coming back from my sister's, and I was driving. He was sitting in the passenger side, and he was like, "Mom, you still drive without the radio on?" And I was like, "Yeah, but tonight I feel like listening to some talk radio." So we found a station on the satellite, listened to some talk radio as we drove home, as I drove him to drop him off, and I was coming home. But I find that it's peaceful to sit in my car and drive. I can think. I don't have a lot of noise around me other than the wind that may be going by, whatever, the air conditioner. Um, but I find myself being able to sit in my car and peacefully have moments of reflection and be able to think, oh, this is what I need to do when I get home, or I would like to do that, or I need to put that in place, or make notes and mental notes in my head that I can do when I get home. The impact that dysfunction from social media sometimes have, it drama feels familiar, right? Because sometimes that chaoticness is some chaoticness that we have somewhere in our life, so we can't come out of it, so we engage in it even on social media. Stability feels suspicious, like, oh my God, this is stable, this isn't supposed to be right, this isn't supposed to be right, I need to be out here in the middle of something up. We start getting the shakes. It's okay to have peace. It's okay to be peaceful and deal with things in a peaceful manner. Things don't have to always be chaotic. Things can be. When I tell you, these social media streets have been so peaceful the last few weeks, so peaceful, so quiet. And I love it. I love it. It's like the thoughts of what your creativity should be able to rise in this type of environment. Sergeant Charge says, I love my peace most of the time. Me too. I love peace. Um, Back in the day, I'm not a big outdoor person. I like outdoors, but I'm not like, I like springtime. When it's cold, too cold, I won't sit out there, but we do have heaters on our back patio. But I will tell you this, what I do. I will go get the mail and I'll go sit on the patio and I'll go through the mail. It's quiet. I don't cut the TV on. When my husband comes in, the first thing he does is grab the remote and flip that TV on. And it aggravates me. I'm like, dude, I was just sitting here. I love the quietness. And he was like, really? It's driving me crazy. Well, go upstairs and be driven crazy up there with the TV. I just want to sit here and just take in the day's work that I just finished and just relax for a moment before I want to listen to some TV, listen to the news, because really our news sometimes can be very chaotic, very drama driven. And it could cause us to be, our spirits to be disturbed, which affects our queendom. It affects our queendom. We give over that power to the disturbance instead of saving it, and finding peace within our own self. Emotional hijacking and reactive living. Negative influencers often rely on outrage. As you know, Peach be over there rage baiting, baby. She be rage baiting. Other people do it. Constantly coming on here with some drama. It's okay to have some peace on this internet. Fear based messaging. Oh, I'm going to do this to you. I'm going to do that to you. I'm going to report you. I'm going to do fear based messaging. Constant conflict. We've already talked about that. Trauma bond with followers. This keeps women in a reactive emotional state, always responding and rarely reflecting. I want to spend time reflecting on my day. And that's what I do when I come home in the evening and I sit down in my living room without the TV on, because I know in my head, if I normally I work from home, but if I'm out seeing my patients till late, and I get home, I know a certain amount of time, a window I got before this house people start arriving at this house. So a lot of times I'll sit downstairs quiet, just sit there reflecting on what I've done today. Did I do everything I need to do? Did I check all my boxes off? What do I need to do for this evening? How can I plan for tomorrow? Or what do I need to do Sometimes I'll just read a book or read a passage of the Bible. You have to have those moments where you are able to set everything aside and be able to concentrate on what you have going on. Pretty Riri Speak says, I completely lose interest in people who show me their drama field. That mess will jump on you if you're not careful. Oh my God. It's almost like a spirit. It's almost like a demon. There's a scripture in the Bible or story in the Bible where it talks about a man that had a legion of demons. And the disciples tried to cast out the demons. They couldn't. And they went to Peter and he couldn't do it. And finally took him to Jesus, and Jesus cast out the demons. And the demons, they had to go somewhere. So they went and jumped in the swine. The swine didn't want the demons, so they went and drowned themselves. That is a story in the Bible. I didn't make it up. If you read the Bible, you know it's there. But that's just how demons, they have to have a host. Devils have to have a host. So that stuff will actually get into you and fester in your spirit, and it grows just like grass grows, just like seeds of the planet grow from the earth. It'll blossom up, and now you got some drama you got to get rid of, right? You got to work hard to get rid of it. When you don't, you shouldn't even allow it to sit into your fester in your spirit, which is another reason why it's very important that you have quiet time, that you have those peaceful moments, that you have those moments where you concentrate. And if you notice, if you've been on my YouTube page at all, if you scroll down in my shorts, I did a video of when we were landing into Bali, Indonesia. And I put on there, visiting Bali was one of the most Zen places I've ever been. Bali is a Buddhist country. Indonesia, rather, is a Buddhist country. But the peace that you feel in Bali, I'm a Christian, but the peace that I felt there, everything was like mellow, just mellow. I enjoyed my trip to Bali. I felt very peaceful in Bali. Another place I felt a lot of peace, which is also a Buddhist country, is Thailand. When I tell you I love Thailand, I loved it. I'm gonna show one day, we're gonna probably during this week while I'm on vacation, I'm gonna show you some of my trip to Italy, and I may throw in some Bali and some Thailand. Because I would tell you Italy is fast paced because it's a European country and they're mostly Catholicism. But when I say those Buddhists practice peace and the bells and all the things that keep you peaceful inside. Back to the emotional hijacking and reactive living of how social media influences you as a woman, as a queen. Impact on the queendom. Instead of ruling her emotions rule her. Because I'm gonna tell you, when you get to dealing with outrage, fear mongering, constant conflict, trauma bonding, you start acting off of those emotions. So instead of ruling your emotions, those emotions start telling you what to, girl, get out. You better, and then you become with a case of the can't help it. I can't help it. I got to say something. I can't hold my peace. Oh my God. Some things aren't even worth you responding. Because if you know who you are, you know whose you are, and you know what you represent, some people can't hold a candle to you. And that's just the mindset you have to have. Girl, she beneath me. And move on with your life. Instead of ruling her emotions rule her. Decision making becomes impulsive rather than intentional. And that is probably one of the most things I see out here on this internet, especially on YouTube. And I say that often to the sister circles, the sister squad. Baby, she acted on impulse. Sometimes you got to sit back and walk that thing through in your mind instead of bringing it out here to the internet. Walk that thing through, and when that impulse pops up, you put it back up under subjection. Whether that comes through prayer and meditation, whether that comes through discipline, which definitely should be happening in our lives. A lot of discipline. You have to keep that under subjection. And decision making becomes impulsive rather than intentional, because your intentional things are lasting, right? I intentional influence that. I talked about that with my mother, intentionally creating those traditions in our family. She intentional. Mother raised us intentionally. And then when I look back on that, I think about everything she did was intentional, even when it came down to the grandkids. She intentional influenced us in ways that we could take through life, because it was more important that we have those intentional moments than those impulses. Like, oh, let's just do that. My mother was never one to be like, okay, let's run over here to the corner. Now, me on the other hand, I will do something spontaneously, but you better believe I've been thinking about it. I done planned it out, and I done mapped it before I execute it. It didn't just come out until I've been thinking about it for a very long time. Today is just a day to execute it. That's just how Sagittarius work too. But that is one of the things that I do. One of the things, if I execute something, is because guess what? It may be back. My husband tell you that. I may have mentioned it to him 10 years ago. We're gonna do X, Y, and Z. And then next week I'll be like, let's go do so and so. He'd be like, you said that to him. Let's do it now. I got it. I got this. Let's go. And we'll go do it. So you have to be intentional about what you do instead of being impulsive. Impulse will have you out here looking like a fool. I'm being honest. Impulses will have you digging graves for yourself that you can't get up out of, because you don't fell in there because you're digging it for someone else. You have to be very careful about how you let your impulses control you. That's just it. Butterfly says, yep. And thanks to my sister squad, I have been good and not jumping out here. Exactly. Exactly. Pretty Riri Speak said, yep, yep, yep. I definitely believe ready to rag and drag and tag all the time. You said we be like, come on, reel back in. We got that fishing pole. Come on back, come on back. Because guess what? They ain't worth your time. Girl, let me tell you something. If someone is constantly telling you you, how beneath them you are, right? Oh, she's beneath me. She's this, she's that. But you're constantly their topic. You're constantly their topic. Baby, you influencing them more than you believe. So they don't need to join. They don't need to join the cavalry. Just walk in your queendom. Walk in that. Don't hand them your crown. Don't here, take my crown. You walk. You remember, our goal is to be this queen, unapologetic us. Be that woman who walks by influence, your own influences. Remember, I said, if there was a product that people wanted and you were the product, wouldn't you want to put the product out there? Sell the product. Sell the product. People, I'm not saying be out here in the streets. That's not what I mean. I mean your influence on others. You understand what I mean? Sergeant Charge is saying, hello, butterfly. So the fragment of identity. When a woman consumes content that shames growth, glorifies bitterness, rewards victimhood, we done seen the victimhood. Oh, I went out here and I was messing with these people, and now they want to lock me up and take my stuff. That rewards victimhood. Now you're the victim after you've created drama, right? One thing we have to do is be able to be accountable. That's one thing. We have to have some accountability. If you're out picking at people and those people return the favor to you, that is not you being a victim, baby. You're not a victim. You just get some accountability back to you. Now, you can accept the accountability you want to, or you can just walk around out here acting like you got it all together. But I believe you accept accountability and you move on, things work out better. Attack softness, healing, or boundaries. When you see someone trying to heal and you attack that, oh my God, you're just anyway. It can fracture her sense of self. So when you have those influences, which again, this is about how social media negatively affects queendom. So when you have someone who attacks your shame of growth, they glorify bitterness. They're always telling you how bitter you can be. And they don't just say that. They use it in other ways. They manipulate you. Reward victimhood. Oh God, look at her. Look, they're messing with her. Help her. Oh my God, call the cavalry because her is in trouble. They attack softness. Oh, she's weak. She's weak. Let's pick at her because we think she's weak. Or they attack healing, or they attack your boundaries. Remember, we talked about in the last talk about queendom that they hate boundaries. They hate for you to put those walls up and say, okay, you cannot influence me because these are my boundaries. They don't like boundaries. Those impulses, they start throwing those impulses because they can't control themselves. They don't want any boundaries, right? And that can fracture who you are as a queen. We don't want to If we don't want to fracture who we are as queen. The impact that has on queendom is she becomes a divided part of her wants, her elevation. Another part stays loyal to dysfunction. So part of you wants to be elevated. The other part is like, okay, but I'm over here with this dysfunction. I need this dysfunction to survive. But your elevation cannot handle the dysfunction. You're gonna have to choose whether or not you're gonna walk in dysfunction or you're gonna walk in elevation. I hope you choose to be elevated and not stay in dysfunction, because you cannot be a queen and be dysfunctional. They just don't work together. The subtle loss of vision, perhaps the most dangerous effect, negative influence shrinks imagination. If all she sees is pettiness as a reward, oh, I can be petty, let me petty, and this is the thing that I'm gonna do. Girl, you're shrinking your imagination. If your healing is mocked, if someone's making fun of you because you're trying to be a better you, you're putting things in places to be a better you, that shrinks the imagination. Whereas you could think big, you think it's small. Wisdom is ignored when you start using those impulses instead of using the wisdom that you have, that God-given wisdom to make better decisions. That shrinks your imagination. Loudness is mistaken for power. People who are loud are mostly, I consider, the weakest people in the room. The loudest people are normally the weakest. You offer nothing but loudness. Bring it in, bring it, reel it on in, and let's talk about it. She may stop envisioning a higher version of herself altogether. If you allow the subtle loss of vision because of all of those other influences, you may stop envisioning what that elevated self can be, right? You will start envisioning what that lower dysfunctional self is. The impact that that has on our queendom is a queen without a vision rules absolutely nothing. The queen always has a vision. She always is trying to put in place what can be done. We're going to use this queendom as we move forward into setting our vision boards, setting our influences for the year to come, what we want to do, making our journals, putting our journals together. Let me see, I got a journal right here. Making sure that we are writing in our journals what we want. I'm trying to decide this year if I want to do a vision board versus just writing down what I want, and getting more in tune with journaling. And what I want to do for a daily basis, because my vision is broad. I just need my journaling to be as broad as my vision. Um, and she's just merely surviving. That is the impact of all those crazy negative influences that come from social media can have on you. A queen without a vision is nothing. She just merely survives. She's just out here just feeling her way through life because she does not have those. She's functioning in dysfunction instead of functioning in elevation and empowerment. Okay, the counter truth is important. Influence not only works where there is unhealed space. Negative influences don't create insecurity. They they uh they don't. They exploit it. They don't create it, they exploit it. They exploit unresolved wounds. A lot of times when you're dealing with negative influences or negative influencers, those unresolved wounds that you have will come to the surface. Whether you thought they were healed up, taken care of, sometimes they just rise up like a scab. If you have a scab is meant to cover an area that is healing. So when your body makes a scab, always know that it's supposed to stay in place, because as it heals, your wound is going to heal from the outside in, and it's going to and your wound is healed. But if you pick that scab off, you may bleed again because up under there is not healed. Okay, so that's why I say that negative influences can cause those wounds, those unresolved wounds and issues to be exploited, because you are back operating in self instead of operating in your queendom. We're queens, and we're gonna walk in this queendom into 2026, y'all. We're getting our mindsets ready to walk into our queendom. Saying the queendom is never destroyed, it's only neglected. So you always have that queen in you. It never goes away. You just sometimes neglect it. May Choose dysfunction over choosing elevation, which is neglecting your queendom. You need that queendom in you. You that queen sometimes needs to thrive. We thrive. We have, as women and men, we have estrogen and testosterone. Both of us, the XY chromosome and the XX chromosome. We have it in us, right? So you can operate in your, there's times you're gonna have to operate in your feminine, there's time you're gonna have to operate in your masculine, women, just being honest. And so when you do that, you have to always remember that you're always the queen, but there's times that you're gonna have to use both of those interchangeably. Once a woman curates what she consumes, reclaims her discernment, chooses peace over performance, prioritizes growth over validation. I would rather grow than to be validated. You said the crown returns to its rightful place. I've now taken my crown back from you because I've curated what I've consumed, right? Okay. I've curated, meaning, okay, this is where these things need to be. I need to put all these things in order in my life. I reclaim my discernment. I discern what the negative spaces are, and that I choose not to walk into that negativity. I choose to operate in peace over performance. I choose to prioritize growth over validation. I don't need that stuff. I want to be I want to grow. I want to have peace, and I want the discernment. Those are the things that we need. I was listening to another content creator, and someone mentioned a 2026 bingo card instead of a vision board. I thought that was pretty cool, different. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. We need to explore that. Explore what that looks like. We need to explore butterfly. That's for you, baby, because you do the vision board. But I'm just saying, I'm trying to gather us up into getting into our queendom. In short, negative social media influence does not steal a woman's queendom overnight. It just doesn't happen. It chips away at it slowly through comparison. I'm sorry. It chips away at it slowly through comparison, emotional manipulation, and normalizing dysfunction. Choose not to walk in dysfunction, because dysfunction is never normal, and you should always know when it's not normal. You should always know when this something is being manipulative. Oh, she's manipulating me. She's lying. You should know that I'm not going to compare anybody. Why should I compare two people? Because none of us are alike. None of us came from the same parent, unless you're a brother or sister. And then, even at that, we are different people. Period. We are just different people. Be aware, but the awareness of the beginning, I'm sorry, but awareness is the beginning of sovereignty. We all need the sovereignty of that queen, of that kingdom. We all need the sovereignty. We all need to, be in that place of connection. And that queen, when I say connection in the queendom, I mean every part of you, your mind, your body, your spirit, your soul. Because when your mind is right, the rest of your body will fall in order. Believe it or not, when your mind is thrown off, your body is usually thrown off. It really is. The body has, up under your brain, sitting at the base of your skull, is a little gland that regulates your body, keeps you stable. It's called the pituitary gland. It actually sets homeostasis. And if that is off, that's why if your head is off, I'll say it all the time. You can tell my kids, if your head ain't right, the rest of you ain't gonna be right. If the head is right and you have prioritized and organized your life in a certain way, life will be smooth. Rebuilding the queendom consciously means reclaiming your inner authority on purpose. Don't do it unintentionally, do it on purpose, not by accident or reaction. It's a return of self rule, discernment, and dignity. So we can't have all those other things if we don't have any dignity. And we just watch old Peach McIntyre over there doing something with her husband in the car. Baby, where's your dignity? That's what I want to know. Where is your dignity? Because that just ain't it. That ain't it. Not, at least not to me. Reclaiming the crown, radical self-authority. A queen begins where permission seeking ends. I don't need your permission to be the queen that I am. I say all the time, I'm an adult. I don't ask nobody for nothing. I operate under me. So you practice before reacting. Ask, does this align with who I am becoming? Is this who I want to influence myself to be like? Stop polling opinions from decisions that affect your peace. Stop polling someone else's issue if it affects your peace. Replace what do they think with what do I know? What do I know to be a fact versus what do they think? I don't care what they think. What do I know to be a fact? Because I'm going to tell you this, if you consciously live this life, you're going to know what's right, what's wrong. If it's not right, you will know. You definitely will know. Conscious shifts. You become the final authority on your life, not an influencer, not a comment section, but not your past self, but you become the final authority in your life. I make all the decisions in my life. So let's clean the throne. Let's clean the throne room, curate what you consume. You cannot rule wisely while ingesting chaos daily. You just can't. You got to cut that mess off. Ignore it. Practice. Unfollow content that triggers comparison, that normalizes dysfunction, that profits from bitterness and outrage. Follow voices that encourage discernment, not dependency. Model peace, wisdom, and growth that schedule intentional no scroll time. Schedule it. Go in your book, go in those journals, and you schedule some intentional time that you just don't scroll. Yesterday, I had time where I just didn't do anything. Nothing. Just when I say nothing, I just sat up and I just relaxed. I looked around me at my grandchildren and my children and just smiled because that is where I find enjoyment. I find enjoyment looking at my offsprings, what I created. These people came from me and they have created things that have come from them. And those are also a part of me. They carry my DNA as well. If you follow me on any other social media platform besides YouTube, you notice under my grandchildren, I put my heirs. These are my heirs. I remember taking my grandson, my oldest grandson, to one of my rental properties, and I pulled up and I said, "You see this?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "One day this will belong to you." He's like, "Really, Granny? Really? Can we go in there?" I said, "We can, but there's someone living there." He's like, "Oh my God." I said, "Yes, this will one day belong to you." Granny has made preparations to leave you something. So I think that's how we curate and we clean our throne room because we want to continue to reign as a queen. We want to continue to live as a queen. So we need to unfollow those things that trigger us. Period. Um, and we need to intentionally schedule no scroll time, like between these hours. If it's only an hour, because everybody in there that they need to start out 24 hours. I'm not gonna scroll. I'm not gonna chit chat with nobody. I'm not gonna do anything. We're coming up on our Daniel fast at church, and I think this year I'm gonna give up 24 hours of social media. I think that is one of the things I'm gonna do. I've never done it because I've always said to myself, "Oh, that's not an issue." But I think sometimes we have issues in places that we don't really see. So I think that'll be one of the things I do this year. Give up 24 hours of social media and concentrate those 24 hours to God, and to making Lady Rowe a better person, making my husband, making a better wife for my husband, making a better mother for my children, making a better grandmother for my grandchildren, and making a better sister for my sisters and brothers, and a better aunt for my nephews and nieces. Because we can always set aside time to work on us, right? Conscious shift. You treat your mind like sacred ground. Treat your mind as though this right here is the most important part of you, right? This is so important. It's so important that I put things in here that will fulfill me, that are positive, that will send me in the right direction when it comes to being me and walking in my kingdom. And your mind is not public property. Always remember, your mind belongs to you. No one can influence your mind. It's yours. Restore the mirror. Restore that mirror. Build self-image truthfully. Negative influence, it fractures identity. Healing requires honest reflection. It requires you to sit down and to be honest. Journaling without performance. No audience, no captions. Nobody needs to know what you're putting in that journal but you. Nobody needs to know what you're... So journal without performance. Be intentional about it. We talked about intentional earlier. Be intentional. Name who you are without survival traits. Who am I if I don't experience to always have this in hand in case this doesn't work. So I'm one of those people. I always got a bird in the bush in case this bird ain't working. My husband says that to you. This girl, she always got some money hidden somewhere because you never know what you're gonna need. I'm always that one that okay, I can go lay my if I need a quick this that I got it. I can go get it. That's how I've always operated. But who would I be if I didn't have those survival traits? That's just who I am. So in your journaling, name who you are without those survival traits. Separate who you had to be from who you chose to be right now. Separate yourself. No, this is who I choose to be, and this is who I'm showing up as. And use that time to intentionally combine the two. Um, Conscious shift, you stop seeing yourself through a distorted lens and start seeing things clearly. Once you start removing some of those dysfunctions, some of those things that cause you to look different. Master emotional governance, not suppression. A queen feels deeply. They really do. They feel deep. My mother was one of the, and I hate to always really, everything goes back to my mom, but she was one of those people who operated so deeply, like you could say stuff to her, and as she got older, it took her a little more time to think, but she always operated with a sense of, let me think about that and I'll get back with you. My parents were never one that they went between each other. If you said, hey, can I do this, and my dad would say, go ask your mama. My mom said, go ask your dad. One time I asked, could I go out, baby? I went in a circle about 6 times. I said, forget, I don't even want to go no more. I don't want to go. These people ain't gonna make a decision. She won't speak over him, and he won't speak over her. My parents, they knew by the time they got to me, baby, we know this game. We know the game better than they do. So let's send her around in a circle, and this is what they did. Let's practice pause before responding to triggers. 24 hours if possible. Before you respond to that negative remark, think about it. Think about it. Like clearly think it through. If you have to walk it out, walk it out. If you have to write it out, write it out. But think about it before you respond to those triggers. Like I said, this thing says 24 hours if possible. Give it as long as you can before you respond. Learn to identify reaction versus response, emotion versus intuition, right? I'm operating on emotions versus I'm operating on this is what my intuition is telling me. Oh, this is a reaction versus this is a good response to this issue. Practice stillness regularly. Silence is leadership and training. Remember, the queen is a leader. So we need to sometimes sit aside and practice what stillness looks like. What does stillness look like? I have found myself this season, this December, the last couple of weeks, practicing stillness. Not intentionally, but really sitting down, talking to the lady that Lady Rowe is. Practicing some stillness, some silent time. I told you I drive around in the car with the radio off, and I pay for satellite radio. Drive around with no radio on, just driving. Listen to the air conditioner. Sometimes just nothing. Sometimes my mind be just clear, just driving to the phone ring. Normally, I get in the car, somebody gonna call, and we'll have a conversation. But other than that, I'm just driving around listening to the quietness of the moment, right? Because sometimes we need that stillness. As we go into this next year, I believe we're gonna have to learn how to practice stillness regularly. I believe that is something that as a sister, as a queen, we have to have. Your emotions become information, not commands, when you practice stillness regularly. Let me say that again. Your emotions become information. They become something that you put in your reservoir, not commands. Because normally people that act off impulse, that act off emotions, that act off reactions, they're those emotions are just something I gotta react to this. I gotta react to this. But after a while, once you practice that stillness, those emotions become information. They become, okay, last time this happened, okay, this is a pattern. You'll be able to see things clearly. I'm telling you, you'll see, oh, but when I tell you the sister squad be spotting stuff before it even happened, before it even happened, they spotted something that happened a week ago that actually came to fruition on yesterday, and we all had a good kiki about it yesterday morning on Christmas Day. Ciao. When you practice stillness regularly, Your emotions become information and not commands because you see it. Hey, Miss AKA, thanks for joining the live. Reestablish peace as power. Your peace is your power, believe it or not. Many women were taught that chaos equals strength. It does not. It does not. Trust me, it does not. Choose being consistent. Choose being consistent over exciting dysfunction, baby. Choose being consistent, like keeping things in order, versus being out here doing your thing. Let go of spaces where peace costs too much. Baby, if this is costing my peace, you got to go. You got to go. In 2026, I'm not taking no chaos in 2026 with me. If you think you're going to be chaotic in my life, you got another thing coming because you can't go with me over there. You're going to have to stay over in 2025. Goodbye. 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 And sometimes we just say hello. Bye-bye. You gotta leave some things behind. Make rest non-negotiable. Baby, it's time to rest. Go get your rest. And when you make rest non-negotiable, it comes easily. It becomes easy for you to get some rest. Uh, you understand that serenity is not a weakness; it is strategic. Your peace is strategic. You have to make it strategic. Building discernment, truth over trends. Trends come and go, but wisdom stays forever. As we get older, we should be walking in wisdom anyway. Question narratives, even popular ones. Question, no matter what it looks like, question it, especially if it affects your life. Ask who benefits from this if I believe this. Read, study, reflect beyond social media sound bites. Read. Get out them books this year. Read more. Study some. And I say get out the books, get out every book you got. I have read books. I've actually pulled out one yesterday, the seven habits of highly effective people. I'm gonna read it. We're gonna talk about it over on this channel. I've read it 3 or 4 times. I used to read it every year at the beginning of the year, and I stopped probably during COVID. Baby, I'm getting it back out. I'm gonna dust that bad boy off, and we're gonna read it. Um, you stop being moved by volume and start being guided by the truth. Integrate the shadow. Don't crown it. Healing isn't pretending you're flawless. It's refusing to let wounds lead. I'm not gonna walk out here because I'm wounded. My heart is hurting or I feel bad or whatever. I'm going to be who I am intentionally. This is who I am. I am a flawed human being. All of us are. None of us are perfect. We're all flawed. And when we all realize it, I think the better off all of us will be. That'll all help us to walk into our queendom. Acknowledge anger, grief, jealousy without acting from them. Right? Oh man, that bothers. I wish I had that. But be able to internalize that and be able to act out on it peacefully. Stop romanticizing. I can't even say that word. Romanticizing brokenness as personality. Stop it. It doesn't make any sense. Stop it. Because baby, brokenness is broken. That's not a personality. You need to go get healed. And being healed sometimes takes a therapist, psychiatrist, psychologist. Go do those things. Stop seeking healing tools. I'm sorry, seek healing tools, not stop. Seek healing tools like therapy, spiritual work, mentorship without shame. Don't be ashamed to say, hey, I went and talk to my psychiatrist. Well, my daughter, I'll never forget this in college. She was like, I'm gonna go talk to a psychiatrist. I'm gonna seek out me a therapist. There's some things I just want to walk through in life. And I was like, what? This is my oldest daughter. I want to just walk through in life. And I think I need the tools to help me walk through it. So she started going to a therapist. And she, to this day, she still sees a therapist. So she's been seeing a therapist for about 10 years. She loves her therapist. Let me tell you, her and her therapist is so close. When she had her baby, therapist sending her uh, baby shower gifts. And is always pouring into her Christmas gifts. They've created a bond. And I love that for them. Her therapist really talks to her and tells her things. So much so she calls, she goes, Mom, I think we all need to go to a therapist, the whole family. I said, well, I don't mind going, but whether or not we get everybody else to go, baby, I don't know. I don't know if everybody gonna do what we do. Riri Speak says, yes, speak life over yourself. Exactly. Speak life over yourself. Stop just walking into this silliness without having to know who you really are. So this conscious shifting as your wounds they still sit at the table, but they do not sit on the throne. You sit on the throne and you create what that throne looks like. Now, if you want to sit up there and with all those wounds, that's you, but you're going to be a broken queen. We don't want broken. We want healed queens. I'm sorry, in 2026. We don't want to take that brokenness into 2026. Restore the vision. A queendom without a vision collapse, right? You got to have a vision. And you have, if you ever see a house or run down houses, because someone has lacked the vision to keep that house up, to keep pouring into that house and keep, because houses deteriorate over time. Things deteriorate. I'm telling you, as a homeowner, there's something you always have to replace: the roof, shingles. I mean, not just shingles, siding. If you have siding on your house, garage doors. Oh my God, I've had to replace garage doors on rental property. I don't know how many times after people move out. So you have to always create. Without those visions, I'm just using it as a metaphor. Without the vision, the queendom collapse. We got to keep those visions. Write a personal constitution. Write it out. What will you tolerate in 2026? What will you protect in 2026? What are you building in 2026? Visualize life beyond survival, because a lot of us are just surviving. But what does life look like when we move beyond just survival? When you can organize your life. I think Symmetry, she's a great organizer. She has things, I think, in a row. She like keeps things on a level, right? And I don't think she operates very well when things don't stay organized. Where me, sometimes I'm organized to a point, but then I'm okay when things like get out of, when it's not quite organized. I you know what I'm saying? I don't have to. I'm not really like stuck to the point, but I like things organized. I don't operate very well in chaos. I'll tell you that. Chaos drives me crazy. Clutter drives me crazy. I just cannot function. I just shut down. In clutter, my husband doesn't understand that. Like if I walk into a room and it's cluttered, I just like, oh, I just want to go to bed. I just can't tolerate it. And I'll tell you my biggest portion that my mom, before she passed, we put all of her stuff in storage, and I had to go clean out the storage. And I remember going and letting up that storage room and looking at it, going, okay, I'll come back. And my husband's like, we got to tackle this. This is a bill that we got to get rid of. We got to get rid of this. This is unnecessary. We've got to tackle this. And my niece and I went there, and she knew how hard that was for me. And we went through there piece by piece. We stayed there all day until we got it done. And after it was over, we did a celebratory meal. I felt like my life had gotten lighter, because it's not meant for us to operate in chaos and clutter. It's just, life isn't meant for us to do that. But we talk about visualizing life beyond survival, making choices that serve the future you, not just the current comfort. Like, don't make choices that are just for today. Think about what it looks like in the long run. You move from reaction to creation when you do those things. Practice daily sovereignty. Small acts matter. Queendoms aren't rebuilt in grand moments. They're rebuilt in daily discipline. Keep promises to yourself. If you promise yourself something, keep it. I'm serious, even if it tee off the guy next door, keep it. Speak with intention. When you speak, make it intentional. Remember, I told you my mother raised us so intentional. She meant everything that she taught us. She told me that I raised you guys intentionally. What I put in you guys, I put it in there intentionally. What me and your daddy did was not something that we just did. We did this intentionally. Riri Speak says, I am more of a minimalist and OCD because of my mom. She's very disorganized. See? And that could do a thing. My mom, I wouldn't say was disorganized, because she could tell you where everything was. She just had a lot of it. When you go from a big old 2,400 square foot home, and you go into a 2-bedroom apartment, then you go from a 2-bedroom apartment to a 1-bedroom apartment. She's had a lot of stuff. And to her, everything was important. And I think when I looked at her stuff in storage, I thought that same thought. Oh my God, I can't do away with mama's stuff. And my brother, before he passed away, he told me, it's just stuff. Lady Ro, it's just stuff. And when you pass away, it's just going to be stuff, and your kids are not going to keep stuff. They're going to do away with. They're going to keep what they want. It's okay to let go of mama's stuff. You said I am so organized. I have to have every and Miss AKA, I believe that about you too, because you are very intentional about life. You are. Oh my God. I wish that some of the order that you have that I had, especially when it comes down to you get up and you handle business, girl. You wake up handling business. I love that about you. I love that about you. Everything has its place. I totally agree with that. So we speak with intention, walk away without explaining. I ain't explaining nothing. This is what I said, and I'm moving on. Choose dignity when ego wants drama. Oh my God, baby. We got one that walks in symmetry, walks in that. She chooses her dignity over that drama miss every time. She gonna when some drama pop up, she gone, right? Because she chooses dignity. I think we all should use that as we go into 2026. Using you choosing dignity when ego wants drama. My ego wants this drama, but I'm gonna choose this dignity. I love that. I love that. Your life becomes aligned and not loud when you do that. Your life becomes aligned. And guess what? Your life, when I tell you, when you organize your life, it is so easy. The air is fresher. I'll tell you this. There was a year I chose the new year. I would work out every day. I lost 28 pounds. Um, I did clean eating. When I tell you I would get up in the morning and go to the gym at 5 a.m., I was so intentional about it. And I would tell you the air was fresher when I got ready to go to work that morning. Oh my God. Did you ever hear? Have you ever heard the birds chirping? Have you ever smelled what fresh pine smells like in the at the beginning of spring, or when the trees and the flowers start budding? I would be jogging through the park and I could smell gardenia, and I was like, "Oh my God, I smell a gardenia plant." Life just becomes totally different when you align your life. It just becomes that. I'm gonna say that again. Your life becomes aligned, not loud. The truth about the queendom is not something you earn, it is something you remember. It doesn't require perfection, popularity, or performance, only a conscious self rule. Once a woman governs herself with clarity, nothing external can rule her. Once you govern yourself by basing yourself in some clarity, nothing you do will change that. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Miss AKA says, before I get in the shower, I open up my window and thank God for the day and just sit there for a minute, just looking out at God's greatness. Oh my God. Amazing. 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 Brown Girls Rock says, hi, all. Happy holidays to everyone. Happy holidays to you, Brown Girls Rocks. Thanks for coming in. I'm going to tell you this. I actually, one year, we do a cousin trip. The cousin girls, we some of the guys have gone a couple times, but primarily it's the cousin girls. We meet up. We call it this. We call each other sister cousins. We meet up and we go somewhere. So every year, annually, we would do it in LA. So this particular trip, we went to LA. One of our cousins was in the hospital in LA, but she opened up her home in Beverly Hills to us. So we all packed into her house. Y'all, this is probably one of our best trips. When I say the best trip, the best trip. That morning we woke up early because we're still on our time, and now we're over on the West Coast and they have a whole different 2 hours behind us. So everybody's up bright and early that morning, and one cousin grabbed the Bible and she read a scripture. We sung hymns. Everybody grabbed their yoga pants, t-shirts, and some tennis shoes and a little light jacket and went for a jog. The air that day was so crisp. The birds chirping was so loud. And God's earth was so big just that day. I'm telling you what organization will do for you. And it started because the morning started out great with prayer, praise, dress, jog, worked out, got that energy, and stopped on the jog and picked up a little light refreshment, which was, in LA, they make those fresh squeezed orange juices. We found a place that did fresh squeezed orange juice, drunk us some glasses of orange juice, had a little bit of breakfast, jogged back to our house and chilled and went, did our little thing the day that we normally do when we go to LA, hang out over in Hollywood or whatever we do. But when you are organized, the day just aligns so much better. And alignment is so loud. Like I said, the air was so loud. The birds were so loud. It's because we chose that day to align ourselves. The personal queendom code. We're gonna just do the first half because I have it in so many different sections. So we're just gonna do the first four. And this is how we're going to walk into the new year. In fact, we may say this for the new year, but I am going to start the first one today. The personal queendom code, sovereignty, my inner authority. My inner authority. So that'll be your inner authority. I am the final decision maker in my own life. I am. No one else is. No one out here in the influencing world can influence my life. Only me. And I'm the final decision maker. I do not outsource my work, wisdom, or direction. It all belongs to me. It all belongs to me. I am not outsourcing it to you, girl. It's my worth, my wisdom, and my directions are all mine. And I'm not going to outsource it to anyone else. I trust myself enough to pause, reflect, and choose deliberately. Whatever the situation is, I trust what I have in me to pause. And let me put this sucker in reverse, or I mean, put this sucker in neutral. Right? We're not moving no further until I can reflect and choose deliberately which direction I need to go. Number 4, I do not explain my boundaries to those committed to misunderstanding them. I'm not going to explain it to you. Believe what you want to believe. And that is the sovereignty. 1, I am the final decision maker. 2, I do not outsource my work, my wisdom, or my direction. I trust myself as number 3 to enough to pause, reflect, and choose deliberately. Number 4, I do not explain my boundaries to those committed to misunderstanding them. Those are my first 4 top things to personalizing my queendom for 2025. 26, I'm sorry. For me, that's my sovereignty, my inner authority. This is the authority I have within me. That I am the final decision maker in my life, not you, not anybody else, not any influencer, just me. I'm not outsourcing my worth, my wisdom, or my direction to you or anyone else. It belongs to me. This is my authority. I trust myself enough to pause, reflect, and choose deliberately. And I do not explain my boundaries to those committed to misunderstanding them. Y'all have so many more. Let me see how many of these I have. I have 5 of them. So we'll do the next 4 as well. Let's do 5 through 8. My value is inherent. This is the 5 through 8 is self-worth, the crown. This is actually my jewel. My jewel. My value is inherent, not earned through suffering, performance, or approval. I inherit this, right? I inherit this. I refuse to compete where I am meant to be be sovereign. I do not chase validation, visibility, or attention at the cost of my dignity. I refuse to get down here in the dirt with you. I'm gonna let you be in the dirt by yourself. I speak to myself with respect, even when correcting myself. Let it roll. Girl, you know you shouldn't have said that. A lot of times I do. I'll be like, I shouldn't have said that. I've apologized to the Mod Squad. I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said that. That didn't need to be out there. That didn't need to be out there. Let me reel that back in. I apologize. I apologize that. I'm gonna go ahead and finish all of them. We can find some more words to do this. Peace, the throne. So we've talked about the crown. We've talked about your authority. The authority was first. The crown was second. Now we're gonna talk about the throne, which is peace. Peace is my baseline, not my reward. This is just the bare minimum is having peace, baby. This is my baseline. This is where I start. Anything that consistently disrupts my peace must justify its place in my life. I choose calm responses over reactive victories. And that is something I am going to implement for sure in 2026. I walk away from chaos without needing the last word. Baby, that is one I am definitely going to put in 2026. Discernment. This is the counsel. I question narratives before I adopt them. Before I adopt them into my space, I'm going to question what does this fit in? Where does this align in my life? I observe patterns longer than I listen to promises. I observe what you do. I observe what you do and I see your patterns. And therefore, I actually know that before I can do anything listening to what you talk about, baby, I already know what you do. So that promise you gave, it don't even matter. Because I have watched your pattern. I know what your pattern is. You're gonna do it again. I do not confuse confidence with competence, uh, and or loudness with truth. I don't confuse confidence with competence or loudness with the truth. I consume information intentionally, not habitually. Emotional. This is the law that I govern my life by. I allow myself to feel without allowing feelings to rule. I pause before reacting to triggers. I do not make permanent decisions from temporary emotional states, and I choose clarity over catharsis. Boundaries, the gates to my queendom. My queendom. Access to me is earned through consistency, not words. I do not negotiate my non-negotiables. That's something I am clearly putting into 2026. I protect my time, my energy, and my attention as sacred resources. I release guilt when I choose myself. Healing the inner court. You said it's called emotional intelligence. I love these words of wisdom. This is a great live. Thank you, Miss AKA. Thank you for coming back, Queen Script. um, Healing and shadow integration, the inner court. I acknowledge my wounds without letting them define me. I do not romanticize pain as personality. I take responsibility for healing without shaming myself for needing it. That is a really good one. I take responsibility for my healing without shaming myself for needing to be healed. That is a great one to take into 2026. My past explains me. It does not excuse behavior I have outgrown. Relationships, my alliances. I choose relationships that expand me. I don't choose ones that drain me. I choose relationships that expand me, not drain me. I do not overgive to prove my worth. I ain't buying you. Get over it. I allow reciprocity to reveal alignment. Mhm. I allow the law of reciprocity to reveal how we align together. I think that is something everybody needs to do. To release connections that require me to abandon myself. Those are my alliances. The vision, the future kingdom. I make decisions with future me in mind. I honor patience as a form of power. I invest in growth that compounds over time. I do not rush destiny out of fear. Daily practice, the rain. I keep promises to myself, especially the small promises, because really those small ones are the ones that mean the most, believe it or not. Those small promises you mean to yourself, oh, I'm going to go get me a massage. That may be something small, but keep that promise because that is something big that you do just for you. I move with intentions, not impulses. I move because this is intentional, not just something I just want to do. I choose dignity over drama. I remember who I am even when tested. My closing decree is I govern myself with clarity, compassion, and courage. I do not seek a throne. I am the throne. What aligns my stay, what disrupts my, well, I'm sorry, what aligns must stay, may stay. What disrupts me must go. My queendom stands because I stand within it. That's it. That is my closing decree. I govern myself with clarity, compassion, and courage. I do not seek a throne because I am the throne. What aligns with my life may stay here. What disrupted, what causes chaos, what causes dysfunction has to go. It ain't there's no ifs, ands, but it has to go. My queendom stands because I stand within it. I am the queen of this queendom and I am standing, so my queendom stands. And that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much to everybody who joined this live. I have enjoyed it. I truly hope you got something from this. As we head into the 2026 season, Christmas is over. Christmas is over. We have let Christmas go. Christmas is go. I told you yesterday when I left my sister's house, I said, I survived Christmas. And it's not the gift giving, because that's not ever an issue with me. The issue is not having a mom, not having a dad. So I was dreading Christmas because Christmas is a sad time. Because that was a time of my mother's traditions. And now I'm having to walk into the light of creating my own traditions with my children. which sometimes can be hard. It can be difficult. It can be different. And that is why I was like, Christmas is over. So now I get to move into 2026 and the things that I want to align with my life for this year. And I hope you do the same. I hope you make some really strong decisions when it comes down to you as a queen and your queendom, because you are. You don't seek a throne because you are the throne. Remember that. There's not a throne to be sought because you are the throne. You are who you are, and walk into that. Even your children need to understand I am the queen. You need to understand that. And any disrespect you have, I am not going to allow that disrespect to fester into my life. It must go. It doesn't align. Remember what I just said, those things, it may stay. They may stay, but if it does not align, if it's dysfunction, chaotic, or disrupts my peace, it must go. So those are things we need to remember as we go into the next year. Yeah, I have truly enjoyed this live. I enjoyed reading that this morning. I enjoyed typing in the things I wanted. I enjoyed researching it to get the information and put it into Chat GPT so they could align my thoughts with more information. As I Googled more and I asked more questions, it just gave it all. It just created one big subject for me, and I appreciated that. Today, I'm gonna do my sin of the day. Remember that. I am wearing Nest Black Tulip. I don't know if you can see that. Black Tulip by Nest of New York. I've had this for a while. My daughter was wearing this. You can find these at Ulta and Sephora. It's a little pricey, but worth it. I love the smell. I love the smell. You say I need to get up on this Chat GPT. Yeah, you should. It is definitely great. Thank you, Living for Me. Thank you, Symmetry. Um, yes. I hope everyone shares this with a female family member or a friend in your life. Everyone needs to hear this message. I agree. I agree. We all need emotional intelligence. And having emotional intelligence isn't just like talking about it. You really have to do the work. You really have to do the work. Don't be ashamed if you need to go talk to a therapist. A therapist can help you put some organization in your life. I remember I told you my oldest daughter, when she went off to college, either her first or second year, she decided she wanted to go see a therapist. I was A-okay with it. I told her, your insurance covers therapy. If you want to go see it, go see one. So she did. And I think she got that because one of her friends was in college, was going to see a therapist. And she started going. I remember going to her apartment and she, in lipstick, had wrote affirmations on her mirror. And y'all, I think I have a picture somewhere in one of my old phones. I just kept it to share with her later in life. And it was, I am this, I can do this is this, I will not. And I was like, oh, I love that. I love that. I love the very fact that she saw that she needed to do some work and she did the work. So don't be ashamed if you feel like you need to reach out to a therapist to get those tools that you need to create a better life for yourself. All right. All right. We're going to be back this week. I got some good stuff, baby. Good stuff. Tomorrow, Saturday Morning Scoop, we're going to talk about how this president went over there yesterday on Christmas and bombed Nigeria. We're going to talk about y'all president. I told you I ain't got no president. Y'all president, because I feel like I need to get my life together. So the next 4 years, I don't have no president. I'm working on me. I'm working on me. But remember, we're going to be journaling this year. We're going to be getting ready for our 2026 year, whether or not you'll be journaling or doing the vision board. Whatever you want to do. That'll be over on Butterflies Live, not here. We're going to do tomorrow, Saturday Morning Scoop. I'm going to try to do it early. Because tomorrow I want to get out. I want to take the babies to smell some air and do some things. So that's what we'll be doing tomorrow. Live for me. So I'm sick of him. He is a menace. Brown girls, right? He is a menace. We're going to pray for him. Lord, work on his mind. Because, on the Lord's holy day of birth, you don't went over and bombed and say you was doing it for the Christians. Baby, ain't no way. Ain't no way. You know, nobody told you today they love you. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Bye-bye.